What up with it, Q-Hine at you with another video. As you can see from the title, I don't know if I'm keeping this little guy right here. It's not because it's not dope at all. It is just a device that may not be for me long term. Who knows? We'll see. So first of all, let's get into the good of this device, if you will. It's fun, bro. It's fun. Period. Let's play a little background music right there. It's fun. Period. And the style. The boxing of it, the way it looks right here, it's just a cool little device, man. Fun experience, man. And I think the buttons being close to each other versus like an MPC or a machine or whatever, something about it encourages more creative drum patterns for me. Maybe the clicky tactileness, but I think it has more to do with how close it is. It just makes me try combinations of hitting stuff that I normally wouldn't, you know what I mean? It's just everything being close encourages more unique drum patterns for me personally, I believe. Super dope. Built-in mic, has a speaker, not the greatest speaker, but hey, it can get you through rough times if needed, you know what I'm saying? Truly portable, you know what I'm saying? Carried around, and it has USB-C on there just in case, you know what I mean? You need a power source so you can hook that up and be good to go pretty much wherever. That's super dope. So it's a great device. And all the complaints that I have aren't because of, a lack of listening or caring about customers per se. It's designed this way very purposefully. I watched some interviews from the creators, the designers of it, and all my complaints, if you even want to call it that, not really complaints, but just why it's not good for me long term, are very purposeful, and I'm not mad at it at all. So this isn't a bashing of the KO2 or anything like that. I just want to make sure that's clear. If you know what you're getting into and you like what you see and you want to have a good time with it, go for it, man. Go for it. But this is why, for me, why I'm probably going to send this guy back, because if it was $100 and under, I'm like, okay, I could do that. But this would be a lot for $100 to me. If it was $150, maybe $200, okay, I can maybe see that too. But this, with the protection plan, taxes and all that, they come out to be about $350. $350 would be a big paperweight for me over time. Like, that's a bit much. I could do something with that bread. I could, get some other cool little device or whatever, just put it in the pocket. But for about $350, I need something that I'm going to be using long term. You feel me? Even though it is a nice little collector's item. So number one for me, and let's play a little something in the background. Let's see what I got here. That is something else I like, because it's so simple. You can turn it on, turn it off, real quick, real easy. But one of the big features, one of the things that people like about this, including me, is the effects. Let me turn up a little bit. All the effects, super dope. But to my knowledge, you can't record that automation. So if you don't record that into a DAW, what you're doing, and you do something just perfect, just right, ain't no precisely recording it and tracking it so you can hear that every time you hear your sequence. You know what I'm saying? Maybe there's a way to do it, but to my knowledge, you can't do that yet. Now, the designer said this is just to jam, to live in the moment, to have fun with your ideas in real time. This is not to be saved, for later. They designed it that way. But I could see myself getting annoyed if I did something just perfect and now like, darn, now I got to go try to replicate that while recording to my DAW and then go through my whole sequence and all that while I'm recording in. And I can't, that leads me to the next little point. There's no song mode. Now, theoretically, you could get all your sequences and then you could essentially copy and paste each one of your sequence into one super long sequence to get your whole song if you want to do it that way. But it really ain't made to do it in that manner. So it's like, if you want to lay out a full song, this ain't the best thing in the world to do it on, you know what I mean? It can be done, but you're gonna have to go through a bit to do it. And for me, I'm doing that more often than not. I do like jamming from time to time, but not too often I'm jamming, more so than laying out a track, you know what I mean? So not being able to record the automation and not being able to listen passively. You can't just listen to all your sequences without having a song mode. You gotta actively go through and change it to hear what you got going on. And it's designed that way. Once again, it's designed that way, but it makes me want to reach for a machine or a Kai MPC. That's another thing. After I pass the novelty phase of this and I can get my sounds in there, I kind of understand how it works. I can manipulate the sounds how I want and all that. I'm like, okay, I just want to apply effect to like this one sound right here, not the whole group. So unless you take that sound, put it in a different group, then sequence in, then do your effects. You can't do that. So you don't have effects per pad. To my knowledge, once again, there's still a lot I don't know about it. So who knows? It could be possible, but from what I've seen, you can't do that as of yet. And never bank on future updates to determine if you're going to keep something or not, in my humble opinion. So it's little features like that. And then, okay, another thing, 64 megabyte sampler composer. That limited space has finally hit me hard, because it ain't so bad until you hit that threshold. Then you got to figure out, what sounds you're going to remove. What projects do you have those sounds in? You got to clear all that out, make sure you record it into your DAW or whatever, or it's just something you don't want to keep anymore. And then you got to clean that up in order to put on more sounds. And once you hit that wall, it's kind of tough because it's limited. Now, the algorithm that they put in to compress all these huge sounds, into these way smaller files and still sound good like this, dope. A+ on that. Great job. I don't know how they do it, but super dope. But man, once you hit that limit, it get kind of rough pulling it in and out. And that leads me to another issue, is the way you add and remove sounds. You have to, you could do it on the device itself, but like, let's say you got a new kit that you want to put in here. You got to connect it via USB-C to the computer. And that ain't a big deal in itself, but the fact that it connects to a URL and not an application kind of bothers me. Now, maybe you could download the website locally to your computer, tablet, whatever. But from what I can see, you have to connect to a website. So you're depending on them to make sure this website stays functioning and live in order for you to be able to both remove and add sounds. And I don't like that. I don't like it. I know they probably save some money on the development, versus developing an application that could be installed on Windows and then the Apple environment on Macs. So just by doing the URL on the website, they probably save some bread. But long term, I don't really like that idea. I ain't gonna lie to you. I ain't the biggest fan of that. So I ain't a fan of that whole mechanism moving back and forth. And that's pretty much it. I'm trying to think of anything else I can think of. There's probably some other stuff that kind of make it. 12 pads, man. Some people also hoping for an update where they make A, B, C, D potential pads to use in the future. So instead of just being group buttons, they become, part of the pad, so you can have your traditional 16 count. Having 12 instead of 16, that gets rough, dog. I ain't gonna lie. When you're doing your chops and all that, you have to keep in mind that you got 12 pads instead of 16. So that could get rough too. I ain't the biggest fan of that. That ain't a showstopper by any means, but I ain't the biggest fan of that. But overall, man, that's just a quick little summary of why I'm probably gonna send this guy back. Super dope machine, super fun. I do enjoy it, but I just believe over time I'm gonna end up not really using this, and it's gonna be a $350 paperweight for me. And I just don't want to have $350 just sitting there not doing nothing, because anything that I spend a decent amount of money on, a couple $100 and up, I'm using constantly. It's gonna be something that I'm using consistently over time. And now that the novelty's wearing off on it, I still think it's dope, but it's just not gonna be something that I actually use a lot going here in the future. So y'all let me know down in the comment section below what you think. Do you have one of these? You know what I mean? If you do, what led you to keep it, or send it back if you send it back like myself? If you've been looking at it, you watched a lot of videos and you decided not to get it in the first place, you know what I mean? What stopped you from getting it? You know what I mean? Put all that down in the comment section below. I'd love to hear y'all thoughts and feelings about it. But overall, I think it's a dope machine. It's just a bit too limited for me long term. It's a great groove box. Great way to sketch your ideas out and everything. Oh, and one note, let me add that in. A lot of people said they like limited, production environments because it forces you to focus and be creative, because you're limited, limited space, limited sounds, limited functionality. So you just got to make do with what you got. I ain't gonna lie. At first, I was on the 100% cap side. I'm like, bro, y'all capping. That's weak to be like, especially, not to pick on this group of people, because like y'all see, I got a bunch of different machines. But like the NPC people, sometimes with older NPCs, oh man, that's what make it great, is the fact that, I don't have all these different functions and features, so it makes me be creative and all that. I hear you. And I used to be like, man, y'all making excuses for them not having features they should have. But after using this, I was like, okay, I can kind of see it. When you limit it, you just work within the box. You just real focused. So I don't think it's 100% cap no more. I'm still on the side of give me all the features, dog. I'm somewhere in between. But I kind of see what that group of people is saying now. You know what I mean? I still give me everything, and then I'll choose to be creative. I don't want to be limited. Give me everything. But anyway, just a side note. Let me know what y'all think about that too. Do you like limited, devices like this that force you to be creative, or are you kind of like me? Give me a box with everything, and I'll be creative where I want to be creative. You know what I mean? Creative people gonna be creative, in my opinion. But hey, whatever. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Till next time, it's been your boy Q hollering at you. Peace. And I do got a few more days before I got to send this back, so who knows? I may change my mind. But anyway.